Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. It's quiet, and as you can see, it looks a little foggy, and we've gotten actually quite a bit of rain. Yesterday, it just kind of drizzly rained most of the day, but overnight we got a good bit of rain, and the old creek has come up probably at least a couple of inches. It's nice and murky, but you know that's how it happens after a rain. But got a good bit of rain, and that's needed around here. We've been pretty dry here lately. At least it'll keep the dust down on the roads. And for those of you that live out in the country, you know what I'm talking about. Well, hostilities have started once again between Israel and Gaza and Hamas. The war has started again, and the ceasefire is over. And as of the last time that I checked this morning, they're claiming that at least 100 people already have died due to attacks from Israel into Gaza. So it looks like it's all on again. Israel is saying that their plan is that this conflict will last over a year, which is one of the longest that I'm aware of on record of any actions between Israel and Hamas or Gaza or anything like that. So we could be seeing this for a long while yet. Who knows if there'll be more ceasefires in between now and then, but at least the plan on paper is for this to last at least a year. Things aren't going so well for Ukraine, at least it seems, in the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. Russia is claiming that they are moving forward and advancing on all fronts. Now, of course, this is information from Russia, so, not sure how correct it is, but it does appear that way. There's been a lot of videos coming out lately of frontline soldiers in Ukraine, and they're mostly elderly men and women, which is never a good sign when a nation is putting forth the young women and old men. In fact, there was a video a couple of weeks ago, which, of course, we don't know how correct it is, but they were saying that it was new recruits. And they were all sitting there, and if you looked throughout the crowd of the new recruits of Ukrainian soldiers, and I would have been a very young man amongst them. Most of them looked well over their late 50s into their 60s and so forth. So things aren't going so well there, but we've all suspected that for quite a while. How much longer is Ukraine going to be able to hold out? Who knows? There's been reports in the news here lately that the United States and NATO is not given up, and that they're not going to let Ukraine lose this war, and they're going to continue funding it. But so far lately, that just seems to be words, because the funding is starting to kind of slow down. I can't see that NATO allowing this to completely fall through, because I suspect something will eventually happen to either distract from it or draw Russia in on other fronts. I know that the border tensions between Russia and Finland right now are rising, so who knows if something would happen there. But it would seem strange that just all of a sudden they just give up and let Russia have this one. But I could be wrong on that. In probably more important news, I released my video last night talking about this white lung syndrome pneumonia that's coming out of China. And just last night I was reporting that there had been the first outbreak here in the United States in a county in Ohio. Well, there's been more reported since then. Now Massachusetts is reporting the same thing also, that there's a county there that's being overwhelmed with cases and an outbreak. India is also saying the same thing, and the British Health Ministry is issuing a warning in Great Britain, because they feel it's going to be happening there and that it's going to be very serious. Still not a lot that I can find definitively about this, other than they're saying a virus, pneumonia virus, coming out of China. They're calling it white lung syndrome. What I have been told and known about white lung is something that painters get when they don't wear a mask and they're painting. But they're saying it's viral. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? But it does appear that there's something to it. Now, I know what a lot of you are saying. We're about that time. In fact, I think it was yesterday or the day before, in the last few days. In the last few days was I think the 4th year anniversary from patient zero, or what they claim to be. Okay, now, you all know that there's a difference between what the official narrative and the truth. So the official narrative, that patient zero was discovered, I believe it was 4 years ago, just in the last couple of days. So we're right in that perfect timeline. We've got an election coming up this next year, similar to the last time. We've got all these global hostilities, and then now we've got this another disease that, at least in some part, is following a similar pattern. That hospitals are filled in China. They're saying that they're just overwhelmed. A lot of them are children this time, which is interesting because I believe it was either Fauci or Gates had said that the next big one would probably affect children more than anything. There are definitely some middle-aged and elderly people being affected by this, but a lot of children. I've already been contacted by a few people here in the States that's saying that they have been diagnosed, or that they have family members that's being diagnosed with this. So that does seem that things are spreading. Now, before you all get upset and think that this is the next CV-19, we don't know yet. We don't know. It's still a little too early to tell. I would say over the next coming days and weeks, if we start seeing a continual pattern of more and more places popping up and claiming that they're having outbreaks, then maybe there's something there. I know what all of you are thinking, that this is just all part of the narrative to get things in place to do the things that they want to do, right? I don't know. I agree with you, but I don't know. Could this be as serious? Could this be real? Could this be something new? Or are we just, claiming it's something and it's just flu cases or something, maybe like what was happening a few years ago? Again, it's all too early, and I don't want people to start to panic and think, oh my goodness, it's the next big pandemic. It's the one that we've all been sitting on the edges of our chair waiting for the last 3 years, and now it's finally here. And oh my goodness, I'm not as prepared as I thought I would be. That's probably what would be going through a lot of your minds. I've been preparing for this for 3 years, and now that it's here, I'm not as prepared as I had hoped to be. We don't know if this is the real deal yet. It is following a similar pattern. At least some things are following a similar pattern that indicate that it could be. It could be. There's not been a whole lot of talk yet. There may be today because, like I said, it was all over the news yesterday about Ohio, and now it's in the news this morning about Massachusetts. So it's possible in the next 24 to 48 hours, there could be some talk from more on a national level, CDC, stuff like that, about what's going on. There may not be. It's so early on this. I think, though, that it's worthy enough of us paying attention to it, at least. I tell you this all the time, that when it comes to emergencies, whether you're bugging out, bugging in, preparing, whatever you're doing, the best hope that you can have is to stay ahead of the curve. Because usually, and if you remember back 3 or 4 years ago, this holds true, that usually the biggest danger isn't the actual thing that's causing the problem, but the reaction of the people to the thing. Look at hurricanes. Look at hurricanes when they hit the coast, and while the hurricane can do lots of damage, there seems to be almost more damage, or maybe not damage, but at least more chaos by the people's reaction to it. The long lines of cars trying to get out of town. Think about the people that made the decision to leave, 24 hours before that. You know, they were able to get out and get fuel and not have any problems. But then all of a sudden, it was like everyone decided to do it all at once, and there was this huge bottleneck and big problems. Same thing with pandemics. You know, everyone ignores it. They don't think it's that big of a deal. And then all of a sudden, there's this breaking point that everyone's like, oh my goodness, it is a big deal. It's bad. Let's run out and buy everything. Let's stock up on toilet paper and food and gasoline and panic. And within hours, there's a major depletion of supplies and things like that. So the best thing is to stay ahead of the curve. But then on the other hand, you don't want to jump to conclusions over nothing. So it's a real fine line, you know, like just a razor's edge. I get it. I would recommend that you start now procuring certain items that you think you might need. You know, now there's some of you that said, I'm stocked up, I'm ready, we're good. And that's fine. But there's others that aren't quite there yet. Maybe you were there and you've dipped into your supplies and you just haven't replenished them. You know, money's been tight, that sort of thing. I would start today if you can, you know, taking a more aggressive approach to resupplying yourself, whether it's food and toiletries and fuel and things like that. Because you know, in a week or 2 or 3, could we be seeing some reaction like we did? This one is coming a little early, which would be expected because the last one, no one was expecting it. Everyone was completely caught off guard. Well, now it's more in everyone's focus. You know, when they hear some disease coming out of China that's now affecting the United States, they have memory of something similar. So the reaction is going to be faster. It's going to hit faster, most likely. And so, you know, could something happen in the next few weeks that causes this to escalate dramatically? It's possible, but maybe not. I don't think that it hurts, though, to say, okay, you know, we've kind of slacked off on our resupplying, so let's take a little bit more aggressive approach for the next few weeks of kind of restocking as much as possible. I understand that's probably tight for a lot of you. Money's tight right now, holidays for a lot of you, so I get it. But I would strongly encourage you to take a more aggressive approach, because it does look, at least right now, I'm not making any predictions, I'm not sounding the alarm. I'm just saying that right now, over the last few days, it does appear that it's following a similar pattern to what we saw 3 or 4 years ago. Again, it may not continue that pattern, but for right now it is. And I think it would be wise to at least start reactivating yourself, I guess you could say, and getting ready for it. At some point, we're going to probably see another one. The whole pandemics are just, as far from the perspective of a globalist, from someone that's trying to rule the world, they're really one of the most perfect things. And so I suspect at some point we're going to see another one. They figure there's probably been enough time. People have forgotten enough stuff. They've been distracted enough by other wars and other things that maybe it's time for this to happen. So we will see over the next few days and weeks what will happen. But I would certainly start taking precautions right now, because it's time to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.